Greetings and welcome to this brief Epic Universe construction update. Now, last week we did release an Epic Universe construction update.
Wait, I've seen this before!
But since then, Bio Reconstruct over on Twitter, or X, or whatever you call it, has worked overtime and released some brand new images that are worth taking a look at. But before we dive into this update, if you're unaware of what Epic Universe is, it's a brand new Universal Studios theme park that is located just 2 miles south of Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. And this new park will include brand new lands themed to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Universal Monsters Dark Universe, and my personal favorite, Super Nintendo World. So today we're going to start our brief tour over at Starfall Racers, as there's some great images and updates to check out over here. Now, it's safe to say that the dual-track roller coaster Starfall Racers is going to be the most thrilling attraction in Epic Universe, as it will reach heights of up to 133 feet, where it will do a celestial spin with speeds over 60 miles an hour. We also know from Universal themselves that this unique ride is going to be based on the idea of a comet shooting across the sky, and in today's update we have the first glimpses of the Starfall Racers ride train that gives us an idea of how they will execute this idea. This great shot here of the ride train sitting on the track, we can see at the front of the train how it looks like the front of a comet with sprinkles of stars all over the train. Now, given Universal has said themselves that this ride will not have external track lighting at night, and that, quote, the fully illuminated ride vehicles appear as comets shooting across the night sky above Celestial Park, I think it's safe to guess that the front comet portion of the ride train and the stars we see all over it will light up at night. Another interesting element of Starfall Racers is that Universal said in a very recent blog post that, quote, although I can't give this Easter egg away just yet, just know that there's a gift for the true Universal fans on the back of each coaster vehicle, truly out of time. Now, Out of Time is a pretty big giveaway, as if you're a fan of the Back to the Future franchise, which is legitimately my wife's favorite movie, and in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, then you'll know that this phrase is from the license plate from that movie. And shout out to Scott Walker over on Twitter, or X, as he provided the graphic here where we can see on the back of the ride trains how there is a box that definitely looks like the shape of a flux capacitor. Now, I don't know how this is going to play into the story of Starfall Racers, but I love the idea of this, taking beloved Universal Studios franchises and implementing them into a brand new park and ride like this. I think it's pretty great. And over at the main theming element of Starfall Racers, we can see scaffolding has come down, and we can see the comet theming here is coming together nicely. Now, the comet is not completed, so either scaffolding will probably go back up later to finish this, or they will use lift machines to get workers up to the comet to put the finishing touches on it. And here we can see work on the extended queue area of Starfall Racers has begun also. All right, that's it for Starfall Racers, but let's head over real quick to the Dark Universe to see some quick updates over here. Over at the Burning Blade Tavern, we can see there is now scaffolding at the front of the windmill to install the windmill blades. Also, it's expected from permits and, well, the name of the tavern, that the windmill blades will have fire on them in some capacity, as this is also straight from the classic Frankenstein movie. And over in the manor, we can see a circular pattern that is soon to have a concrete pour in the queue area here. To me, this seems like it will be a fountain, and you would expect from an older looking manor that there would be a fountain outside. And for those that don't know, the Dark Manor is the featured attraction in the Dark Universe that will be called Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment, which will be a Kuka arm-based attraction, which is the same ride technology that is used in the Forbidden Journey ride over in Hogsmeade. Speaking of concrete, if you're curious how they get so much concrete for the concrete pours in Epic Universe, well, it isn't hauled very far, as there's an actual on-site concrete factory that then transport the concrete wherever it's needed on the construction site. On the manor itself, we can see that it's going to be covered in vines to give an overgrown, spooky aspect to the building once the painting and theming is done on the building. And this is also likely a theming element that we will see all throughout the land. And over at the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster, we can see they have installed safety netting in areas where guests will be below where the ride is going to protect them from anything that could fall off from the ride. We've seen this type of netting also in the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk on the main coaster in that land as well. All right, that's it for the Dark Universe. Let's jump over real quick to Super Nintendo World to see some updates over here. A cool aspect of the Donkey Kong coaster called Minecart Madness has shown up and getting ready to be installed, which is the giant barrel that will shoot riders out the top of the lift hill. Now, if you're familiar with the Donkey Kong video games, then you'll be well aware that being shot out of a barrel is a very common thing in those games. Now, since our visit last week in this area, not much has progressed on the themed wall here, but some of the scaffolding has come down, and we are likely to see the circle theme with palm trees begin to be painted very soon. And if we look real closely over here in the side area of Minecart Madness, we can see a mine car sitting in the inside section just in the front there. So likely ride testing is already happening here. And over in the Mushroom Kingdom, we can get a better look at some of the uncovered Yoshi ride vehicles as ride testing here continues. And we can also get a good look here at the egg vehicles that will be used for guests that need handicapped accessible vehicles. All right, that's it for Super Nintendo World. I told you this would be a pretty quick update. Let's head over into the How to Train Your Dragon Land Isle of Berk to check out some updates over here. We can see the mountaintop that is being constructed on top of Mead Hall now has a small house on the top of it, which is likely Gothy's hut. The grandstands that we saw in the last video over by the Spinning Dragons ride has made some progress, as we can now see the structure of it very clearly. Now, if you remember on the How to Train Your Dragon coaster how many of the steel framed elements of that ride have been painted to look like wood, this is going to happen here as well to keep with the theming of a Viking village. And speaking of the How to Train Your Dragon coaster, which according to Orlando Park Stop is rumored to be named Hiccup's Wing Gliders, we can now see here at the arrow that a themed mechanical element has been installed. We also have a themed fence that has popped up that blocks the back of house view from guests on the returning ride trains. And there's also foundations being cast next to Hiccup's Wing Gliders coaster track here. And over at Grog and Gruel, which is a restaurant in the land, we can see the exterior theming is making progress with the painting here. And over here in the boat ride in the land, which is likely to be called Fire Drill, we have our first glimpse at the ride boats as part of this ride. Definitely looks like a Viking ship, and we talked about in the last video how the belt was installed. So we're probably not too far away from the area here getting filled up with water and ride testing to happen. All right, that's it for over here in the Isle of Berk. Let's head back into Celestial Park to check out some updates over here. Now, we saw in the last update the beginnings of the Celeste Tiki Bar could be seen.
Hey, tiki theme, nice.
Well, now they are preparing a concrete pour for that bar. And the fountains next to the Atlantic restaurant have been painted blue, much like the large in-park fountain in front of Helios Grand Hotel, and we can get an idea of how the cascading water features will look around the Atlantic. Over in the main entrance plaza of Epic Universe, there have been a lot of trees recently transplanted to the front of Epic Universe, very much keeping with the motto that Universal has stated about Epic Universe, and that they intend to bring the quote park back into theme parks. Well, that's going to do it for this Epic Universe construction update. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel before you go. As always, we will be doing more Epic Universe news updates, land previews, and construction updates as work on this new park continues. Also, here at Capture the Magic, we have informational videos to help you have the best time when heading to Universal Studios and or Disney World on your next vacation. And if you want even more Universal Studios and or Disney World information, you can check out the Capture the Magic podcast, where we share tips, reviews, money-saving strategies, and more. You can find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and also here on YouTube over at CTM Podcast. Thank you again for watching this video. And are there any aspects of Epic Universe that you would enjoy seeing a video on? Please let us know in the comments. And until next time, we will see you in the parks.